Browns QB Shedeur Sanders doesn't want Deion at camp. Shedeur Sanders is attempting to focus on the job in front of him at Cleveland Browns training camp rather than a potential visit from his famous father. After Pro Football Hall of Famer and Colorado coach Deion Sanders said in an interview that his son asked him not to visit him at camp, the younger Sanders explained why on Monday. "I don't want him coming to see me right now because I want to get to where I want to go, then for him to see me," Shedeur Sanders told reporters. "I don't want him to come and see me get a couple reps, and he is cheering like a good dad. Like, nah, you can't be proud of me right now. I got to get to where I'm going, and I know it's a lot I got to do to get there. It's kind of like I just want everything that I'm doing is just focus on this time, and I don't want no distractions because we know how the media, we know how everybody would take it and take away from the team, just from him being my own dad showing up. So, it is a gift and a curse at the same time." Shedeur Sanders experienced a precipitous fall in the draft after he was widely expected to be selected in the first round as one of the first quarterbacks off the board. He wasn't even the first QB selected by the Browns, who chose Oregon quarterback Dillon Gabriel in the third round before adding Sanders in the fifth, 144th overall. Now Sanders is battling Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and Gabriel for reps at camp. Sanders is the only one who has yet to receive first-team reps. Some speculated that Sanders' fall was the result of bad advice he received from his father, who was his coach at Jackson State and Colorado, and that NFL teams would not want Deion Sanders' specter looming over their operation. Deion did visit Shedeur's brother Shiloh at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers training camp. But he is also dealing with a full plate. He had his bladder removed due to a tumor earlier this year, and his Buffaloes are a few weeks away from their 2025 season opener. Shedeur Sanders stood at the edge of the practice field in Berea, Ohio, sweat dripping from his brow as he removed his helmet. The weight of Cleveland's training camp wasn't just in the heat or the quarterback competition. It was in the expectations, the name stitched on the back of his jersey, and the shadow that followed him like a second number on his back. The name Sanders. A name that turned heads and sold jerseys before he'd ever thrown a pass in the NFL. But this summer, something shifted. Because for the first time in his life, Shedeur Sanders didn't want his father, Deion coach Prime Sanders, anywhere near training camp. It wasn't personal. It wasn't disrespect. It was necessary. Reporters noticed early on, Deion Sanders, the ever-present force in his son's athletic lives, hadn't made an appearance in Berea. No sideline sunglasses, no camo jackets, no motivational quips echoing across the field. And when asked whether Coach Prime would be visiting anytime soon, Shedeur didn't dodge the question. He looked straight into the camera and said it clearly. "This is my journey now. I love my dad more than anything, but I asked him not to come to camp." The room fell quiet. Not in shock, but in understanding. Because Shedeur wasn't being cold. He was being honest. In Colorado, Deion had been everywhere. He was the face of the program, the voice in the locker room, and the man with the final say. Shedeur thrived under him, but also carried the burden of constantly being Deion's son instead of the quarterback. Now in Cleveland, with NFL cameras and fans watching his every move, Shedeur wanted something different. He wanted space. "I just needed room to breathe," he said in a post-practice interview. "Everywhere I've been, people asked me about him before they asked about me. And I get it. He's a legend. But I'm building something of my own now." Veterans in the locker room respected it. "I've been around a lot of rookies with famous dads or brothers," said Amari Cooper. "Most of them hide behind the name. Shedeur? He's out here trying to escape it. That takes guts." Even the coaching staff acknowledged the maturity behind the move. Head coach Kevin Stefanski told the media, "We support Shedeur 100%. He's locked in. He's focused. And he's doing this the right way, earning respect through action, not lineage." Behind the scenes, Shedeur and Deion had spoken about it. A long phone call. No yelling. No resistance. Just mutual understanding. Deion knew this day would come. "I told him, if you ever need me to take a step back, just say the word," Deion said in an interview later. And he did. And I respected it. That's a grown man move. That's a quarterback move. Still, it wasn't easy. For either of them. Shedeur admitted that part of him missed the sound of his dad's voice yelling across the field. Missed the critiques. Missed the subtle look of pride Deion wore when Shedeur completed a perfect deep ball. "But if I want to be a leader in this league," Shedeur said, "I've got to do it without the safety net. No matter how good that net is." That didn't mean Deion was out of the picture entirely. The text still came. Footwork clean today? Remember who you are. Lead even when nobody's watching. But there were no surprise visits. No sideline pep talks. Just silent support from afar. And for Shedeur, that made all the difference. Camp wasn't easy. The reps were tough, the quarterback competition fiercer than fans knew. Shedeur had good days, flashes of brilliance that made even the harshest scouts nod. But he also had bad ones. A pick six here, a delay of game there, moments where the NFL reminded him that being great in college means nothing at this level. And in those moments, the temptation to call his dad, to ask for advice, a fix, a comfort, was strong. But he resisted. This is what I asked for, he reminded himself. Now I've got to own it. One day after a tough 2-minute drill, a reporter asked if he regretted asking Deion to stay away. Shedeur shook his head. Not at all, he said. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. I love my pops, but I needed to feel what this really is. Just me. No cameras. No dad. Just the grind. And quietly, day by day, Shedeur was proving he belonged. Not as Coach Prime's son, but as the Browns' future. The locker room took notice. So did the coaches. And so did the fans. Eventually, the season would begin and Deion would show up. Maybe week 1, maybe not until a primetime game. But when he did, he wouldn't come as a coach or a mentor. He'd come as a father. Proud. Watching from the stands like everyone else. Because that's what Shedeur asked for. And that's what this moment required.